Hey everybody, it's Laurie Blomer here. It is Sunday, May 4th, 2025. May the 4th be with you for all who celebrate. I'm here for this week's card pull for spiritual reflection and spiritual inspiration. So those of you who've been following along, welcome back. For those of you who are new to this, almost every week, I like to pull a card for spiritual reflection and spiritual inspiration. I call it a helpful lens through which to observe the week's experiences for the purpose of becoming a better human being, becoming wiser, and also to help us on our spiritual journey. I work with whatever card deck I just feel compelled to work with for that given day. And I give it my spin. Basically, I jump right in and say, what's the inspiration for me? What's the opportunity for self-reflection for me as I look at the card? So I really go with my intuition. You are welcome to follow that same inspiration yourself, but I really encourage you to kind of sit with the card. Maybe when I pull it, pause the recording, and just sit with it and say, what jumps out to me? How does this card speak to me based on what I know about what's coming up for this week, based on the things I know I'm working on at this time in my life? So just kind of sit with it and allow whatever impressions come to you. It's really intended to be an organic process. If you're also getting my emails, then you're getting an additional piece of information that's not in the video here, and that is sort of a weekly forecast, the week's forecast in the context of the card's energy, from my friend Heather Coletti, who's a philosopher and a life coach and also an excellent astrologer. So she's going to give the astrological spin. So, all right, I'm going to jump right in now. Now, in terms of what deck I'm working with, interestingly, this is a deck I work with clients quite often. It's a version of tarot, but I find it's not the Rider-Waite deck. It's pretty true to the Rider-Waite deck, however, in terms of themes, organization, structure, and so on. But I find my clients find it a little bit easier to understand and glean messages for themselves, whereas the Rider-Waite, the traditional tarot deck that most people think of, this guy, people can find that sometimes, confusing, sometimes off-putting. Excuse me, I'm back. And anyway, I often work with them hand in hand. So I'll show the client the version from the deck I'm about to show you, and then I will go back to the Rider-Waite deck and compare them. So or show them both. So anyway, this is the deck that I'm working with. It's run of Radleigh Valentine's. Radleigh's got several tarot decks. Again, he remains fairly true to tarot. He does change the order of a couple cards to go back to what was prior to the Rider-Waite, the order of the major arcana, which are significant cards in tarot. He also uses different title names for many of the major arcana cards. Anyway, it's slightly different, but it's not hard to map back to the tarot. And it also comes with a companion booklet to sort of explain those mappings. Anyway, I like this deck, and I've had a lot of success with it with clients. And this week I thought, I'm going to use it here too. It's a big old deck. Tarot has 78 cards in it, as does this. It's a little unwieldy, so whenever you see me shuffle cards, you'll see me sort of lift some from the front, from the back, from the front, from the back, and I just keep doing this while I focus on my intention. And my intention is always to share. We have a jumper. It literally fell out, and it's right here. So I'm going to put it aside right now. But anyway, shuffle until it feels ready, or until a card volunteers itself, which it just did. So here's our card. It's the Star. I'm going to focus on the text here. Now, these are not canned interpretations. These are suggested or possible interpretations on the cards. However, it doesn't mean that's literally what it means for you. But the Star is a great card. Let me talk to you a little bit about it. First of all, think about wish upon a star, the idea of getting what you've wished for, what you've hoped for. That's very much the energy of this card. So it's the idea of having faith in the future. You'll notice we also have these two pitchers that she's holding. Water's running back into the water where she has one foot, and water is also running onto the ground and flowing outwards. So I like to look at this card in the context of sort of saying being in the flow of things, and also that there are multiple flows we can be in and multiple choices. In a way, I kind of look at this card and say there's no one way to go, but put yourself in the flow and you're able to explore soul-honoring options. So I always take comfort when I see this card, and that's what's jumping out to me here. If you look at her feet where the water is hitting the ground and hitting the water, there's these sort of magical sparkles. So there are multiple options for you as well. And that's one of the takes for me this week, is there are multiple options, but be in the flow of it. She's got a foot in the water and a foot on the land, which also means it's sort of balanced. We think of the ground as being grounding and being in the practical physical world, and water in tarot is often a metaphor for intuition and emotion. So this idea of taking a balanced approach. We also have a bluebird here, or a very blue bird. And this is the time when we start seeing bluebirds out and nesting. So it kind of looks like spring, which is the season that we're in here in the Northern Hemisphere. So I really like this. This card is often very much a message of being in the flow, trusting your instincts and your intuition, trusting that things can work out your way, and that it can be the end of challenging times, getting back in that flow again. This is another positive card. Last week's was really inspiring as well. There's been a lot of, there's been a lot of tough stuff we've been dealing with since the beginning of this year. A lot of us feel like we were shot out of a cannon at many levels in the world and in our personal lives. I really like the Star card as one to say, give you hope and be in the flow. Also, keep showing the card. Something else that really stands out to me, this idea of being back in nature as a place to get grounded, as a place from which to get inspiration, as a place to recharge your batteries. So get away from your desk, get out of your house. Make that, especially again, it's beautiful, it's spring. So the idea of getting outside and reconnecting, there's this beautiful eternal nature of spring. Birds do not get hung up on what's going on in politics. They don't get hung up on job deadlines. They go with the flow of the seasons. You know, animals work with the seasons, and we go outside. We also get to see the beautiful ways that nature transforms and moves with changes in the seasons. Things die off, they come back to life, they bloom. So the idea of spring being outwardly focused energy, it's very active energy. Winter, fall tends to be more inwardly focused and self-reflective. Spring and summer more outwardly focused. So you might find the signs that you get from the divine or from your spirit guides or from your intuition are actually in your outside experience. And that's very much in the energy of spring. So I hope I don't sound like I'm all over the place here, but this is a great card. It's from the Major Arcana. Those are the first 22 cards of the tarot deck, of the 78 card deck. These are the biggies. These have to do with a major crossroads in our lives, major challenges, major lessons. This is towards the end of the Major Arcana, which is also called the Fool's Journey, because it starts with the Fool. It starts with this guy. And he goes on his journey. And it's card number 17. So the idea of being pretty far into that journey of the 22 cards of the Major Arcana. She's been through hell, high water, challenges, emotional crises, and she's in a good place, and she's in the flow, and she's taking a grounded approach. Foot in the earth, foot in the water. So there you go. For those of you who are interested in astrology, we also have the symbol Aquarius here, which also, to me, when I think of Aquarius, I think of novel, different thinking, thinking outside of the box, thinking in terms of possibilities. So anyway, rift aplenty here. Take from it whatever inspires you. I hope you have a wonderful, inspired week. And again, a week filled with faith. I'm just going to touch on one more thing here. We see a J-O in the corner. On this deck, there's a reference in the corners of these Major Arcana cards, of all the cards, of an archangel. This J-O stands for Archangel Jophiel. You might remember if you read last week's card pull, I commented on Archangel Jophiel as the archangel who beautifies things, including thoughts. She's called the antidepressant archangel, so she can uplift your thoughts so you can go about the important. So you can be inspired with optimism, enthusiasm, and go about the important work in your life. So there you go. Hope you have a wonderful, inspired week. Wish upon a star. My name is Laurie Blomer. My website is laurieblomer.com. My email address is laurieblomerpsychic@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. Would love to work with you. And I hope you have a wonderful, inspired week. And thanks for watching.